Oh, there we go. I actually had up to, what was it? Was it up to 8 people or whatever? Just, which is funny because it's the last few minutes, and I guess that's when I had the draw.io flowchart thing up when I was just starting my map. So, anyways, so this is something I'm just gonna look at later. Make sure your indie game has a hook. But that's not what we're doing right now. What we're doing right now is let's go to favorites. And actually, I guess that's the kind of trick. The trick here, um, although the trick here is having something interesting on screen, I think. So, I wonder. Hmm, I wonder if you. What would you say if I? And that's for anybody that happens to watch. Probably later because there's only two in here right now, and so whoever you are, um, and maybe I'll ask it again a little bit later on in the stream. But what if I what if I make my map stuff offline? I record it, right? I record it as a video, and then when I start my next stream, 201 stream, 200 stream part two, that's still a pretty big deal here. But anyway, in any case, um, let's say we uh, let's say offline I build my map up offline. I record it, right? So it'll be anytime. And then when I come to stream next week, I can continue on with the boring, chat GPT, figuring stuff out, trying to figure a lot logical stuff, making the pages slowly like I've been doing. But I put my live stuff in the corner of the screen, and then but I the rest of the screen is taken up by me building the map, and I don't even necessarily need to do it in time lapse, but I could speed it up if I run out of time, or I could just do it in real time, whatever. Figure out where I've left off, or I could give it like maybe I could do an hour 15 uh, for the actual recording, the actual. I can do it in chunks of what an hour and 15. It doesn't mean I wouldn't like do more at the right in the same night or whatever, same day. But that way it's just under the time that I'm supposed to be on, and then so that most of the screen is filled up with me working on stuff. And I probably would do it in normal speed. Like you could do it in time lapse, but time lapse isn't gonna uh, cover a lot of time, right? Because I'm still doing my regular streaming. But I can do that. I can do that with my drawing practice. Do drawing practice offline, and I'll record it, and then I'll play that. I'll put it somewhere. I'll put it somewhere. I'll put it on the screen somehow, either via a window like VLC or something, or whatever's on Linux Mint here. But I'll put it on while I'm doing my live stuff because my live stuff it's mostly the talking that's important. Unless I have something, um, I have to figure out how to in real time like enlarge and shrink down the screen. But I can I can then because primarily you're listening to my talking, and I know if you're watching, you're watching. But if you tend to put it on in the background, then um, you won't see anything anyways. But if you do watch it, then you'll see me actually physically working on the maps and my drawing, sketching stuff, and whatever. I think. I think that might bring more people in because it will be visual. Because, like I said, right as I was about ready, and it always happens right about the time I'm about to end uh, for my break, which is, I guess it's not that weird because um, what it is it's the time thing. So there's a confluence, there's a time period where more people are on, and it's not way later at night because, like for instance, the UK people, they're 5 hours out away from me. So if I do it, let's say what would be a late time? Let's say 11 o'clock, right? So 11 o'clock minus 5 hours is 6 o'clock. Well, I wouldn't be on 6 o'clock anyways. But just for instance, what time is it right now? Right? So I start at 2 for my second half, 2 to 3:30. So 2 plus 5 is 7, right? So it's 7 to 8:30. Anyways, you're getting to like dinner time, you're getting to like bedtime, depending on where you're at. Um, and so I get more people later on, but it's actually a time where more people can get on, even in the U.S. Even if typically you have work or school, um, you can catch me a little bit. So I'm thinking that aside from the time, if I have the visuals on there while I'm doing this boring stuff, then to you it won't feel that boring. Anyways, let me know what you think if you're on here. Um, if you're just new here today and didn't hear me say it earlier, I'll recap it in a short sentence. What if I do my Mac making and my drawing practice offline? I record it, then I shrink my live stuff to like a small section of the screen, and then the rest of the screen would be my visual stuff, and so that way you'll have something to look at while I'm. It won't be time lapse though, because if I do time lapse, that means I have to record a long time. That means I have to record several sessions, and then it gets done in one session. And I have a lot of sessions to go. Even if I restarted and did the kind of the shorter phase one, then um, so even if I did that, it's still kind of this boring, slow part here, and I can do visual. So let me know what you think about uh, if I do that. And you can, of course, talk to me in IRC if you're on Libera.chat or Afternet. I'm in both Game Designers and Game Dev on Libera.chat, and I'm on Game Dev and Ludum Dare or Ludum Dare on Afternet. So you can catch me there. You can catch me on Discord. I don't have a Discord myself, which I probably might should at some point do, right? I'm not that big yet, so um so that's why we're gonna completely do this different than this here. Um and really it's just going to be this code in here. We're gonna comment out this code in here. Actually, I'm going to comment this out because I'm gonna completely do something different. And let's just go ahead and we'll put pass in there. Pass. It's like no op in assembly. Okay. So let's see here. So I'm going to do this whole we have rooms to add up here. We're going to put rooms to remove up here too. So there rooms to remove array This is the only place I put a no double spaces because it's supposed to just, I don't, it's not a real, there's not like a real logic here, but something like this is part of the type here, so it's not something, I don't know. I always put this. I don't put the extra space in here because it's part of the same line, so to speak, I guess you might say. Anyways, now if I were to fill in the array itself with elements, it would have spaces in between there, but I don't do that for the type. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We are going to um, we're going to do a rooms to remove. Okay, so for here, let's just copy this. Right? Okay. Uh, and actually, yeah, let's just do this that way. Okay. Room ID and rooms to select, right? So this is the list. Okay. And we're gonna do this. I just find it easier just to kind of start clean, even though I'm just copying the same code here. Okay. If selected rooms has room ID, right? Then selected rooms, room ID. Actually, we're gonna copy this whole thing. Update highlight. Then we erase. No, we don't erase. That's the difference here. Difference here is we're not erasing here. Difference here is we're going to add it to a remove list. So then, maybe I shouldn't even do this in here. All I should do is add it to the remove list, right? So if select rooms has room ID, right? Rooms to remove, append room ID. Okay, so let me go that in my head to see if that's going to be fine. So we're going to go to room to select, and if selected rooms does have that particular room ID, then it's going to add it to the removal list. Okay. So add to the removal list. Already in the removal list. Do that. Okay. Now we have a rooms to remove list, right? Okay, so now what we do is we need a rooms to add here. Now, the ones to add, okay, if selected has, wait. Okay, let me think for a second. ID. So now we need to go through rooms to select because we're doing the opposite here. So for room in selected rooms, Probably about dot values. Actually, I don't need the stats anymore. Let's leave that out. Okay, so all right. Interesting. Interesting. For room and selected rooms dot values. So it's going to go through each room. If room dot ID is equal to rooms to add. Wait. So in the other case, we remove a room that's already in selected, but we add a room that's not in selected, right? Okay. Let me think. Do I need a separate loop for that? Do I need I need to check each of the, so I need a separate loop. That's easier to be able to remove them, but to add them, I need a separate loop. So I need to go through each and every deal. No, that's not. That's not right. That's not right. Do I need a separate loop? I'm trying to do this without looking at the AI here. So just a moment here. And let's see here. What about over here? Chat. All right. Expected indented block after 4 block. Yeah, I know that. So we want to determine what rooms to remove and what rooms to add, because it's not going to be I wonder maybe if selected rooms has room ID. I might be able to do that in one loop. I mean, it doesn't sounds like I need 2 separate loops, but maybe I don't. Let's check something out here. I'm going to do else. Else, would it be this easy to add and a Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ask the AI now because I'm doing something that I don't think should be this easy. So, layout tool. Okay, going through separation code and looking and seeing maybe a separate group or adding rooms is not necessary. Here's my code. Here's my code. Okay. We're gonna table that for a second. Here's the thing. Seems too simple, which is why I find it credulous. Let's see, you may actually be right and wrong depending on what you do after the snippet. Let's unpack it real quick. It cleanly separates which IDs to add versus which to remove based on the current selection. However, the part that might trip you is what happened next. When you remove selected rooms, make sure you both update. Yeah, no, of course. And when you add, you want to selected rooms, then it's selected and update highlight. Yeah, no, I know that, but I mean this is what I'm going to do for a room ID and rooms to remove. Room equals selected rooms, and that's exactly right. That's it. Huh. Obviously, afterwards, I'll have to add and remove respectively, but it just seems too simple. And you suggested 2 loops earlier, I think, and I didn't want to go that route because it seemed like too much code. It seemed like it was inelegant, but then again, I'm not doing 2 separate loops, so maybe my mind was correct in thinking it should be this simple, but when it didn't work out, I didn't think so afterwards. I don't know if I'm making sense to the AI or even to any person listening. So hopefully, exactly the kind of managed gymnastics every game dev goes through. You see the elegant pattern early, data it when the first version misbehaves, and circle back to later to realize it was that simple all along. Because you're trying to modify the same dictionary while iterating and deciding what to do. That's where things got messy. Your current version isn't doing that. It's just classifying things in the rooms ahead. And your logic pass, clean, side effect free. Later loops are acting. Yeah, so there are actually 3 loops in it technically, but so I was like, is it that simple? And then I'll have to worry about shift and the way shift and the regular works. The regular is going to work fine because it clears the selection first. The the shift part might work okay because I don't have anything else for the shift. This says control mod and not shift mod. This says not control mod, not shift mod. Clear it, and so it won't clear it, and it won't do this other stuff if I'm just holding down shift, which it should be doing it properly. And if I want to make sure it's solid, like something else later on can't screw it up, then I could just say if shift mod and not control mod or something of that deal, just to make sure that everything is separated clearly. But yeah. Or room ID in rooms to remove. Okay. Now I'm still going to do this in my head, just on purpose. So rooms to remove, right? Then we say, now we know it's already in there, so I don't need to do any additional checks. So we say, selected rooms, room ID. It doesn't matter, we're just going to delete that later anyways. Selected rooms that room ID dot is selected with false. selected, oops, rooms, room, ID, date, highlight. Selected rooms dot erase room ID. That's as simple as that. Then now we do for room ID in rooms to add colon. Yep, now we're going to do this by dictionary room. So we're going to say if rooms get room ID, no, if roomsticks dot has room ID, then selected rooms we'll do it like this: selected rooms dot append yeah, not append, right? Selected rooms room ID. No, it's not right either. See, when we add oh, yeah, ID equals rooms get room ID. Okay, I just forgot the syntax for a second there. Selected rooms room ID that is selected. It's true. Selected rooms room ID dot update highlight. So standalone expression may have no effect. Oh. This is one of the things I think that any IDE or any development environment should be able to do. If I put in the name there and I forgot to put in the parentheses, now it comes up with a warning and say it may not execute or may not do anything. But what it should do is it should automatically put the parentheses on there, or it should tell me pop up some saying this appears to be a function. Would you like parentheses? You know, or something like that. It should be able to automatically do that. Even tell you that it appears to be the name because it's the same exact name, right? Anyways, so yeah, so hopefully that does work. So we add it, then we make it selected, we update highlight here, we turn it to false, we update the highlight, and then we erase it. And Bob's your uncle. And I guess that should work, shouldn't it? Okay. So let's just run it. And let's see. Okay, we're just going to do this. Then I'm just going to go control like that. That works. Now, if I go over the whole thing, it should flip. The middle one should be the only one lit, and the outer two should be unlit. Why didn't that work? Oh boy. I mean, why how come it deletes it every single time? I only completely clear them, unless I have a clear somewhere that I don't think I have. Now I clear some stuff down here, rooms to select, rooms to add. I only do it afterwards, right? After everything is done. So how come it's not adding room? Well, let me actually look at ChatGPT's second loop to see what I'm doing wrong. Var room equals room sticked, right? Select room dot update highlight selected rooms room ID equals room. Oh, because it's automatically doing it. It's not doing. No. Room ID. Okay, let's just do I guess, a deal in here. And add the print statement afterwards, the little debug print, but we gotta start this over here. We gotta okay. Oops, to remove. Room ID is channel lands 1, which is correct. Okay. Yep, channel lands 1. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll F12 it to let it continue. Then we're gonna do the same thing here. Do I need an order then? Is that the case? It should only remove the two outer ones. The inner one should be. Why does rooms to remove? See, it's not getting to the added ones. Okay. Um, stop this. Uh, yeah, let's go ahead and put another deal here. We'll go ahead and do this again. And we'll do this. Okay. Rooms to select is only the one. So what do? This is the only one to remove, right? So if I do, and this is if it has more, so that's all right. Now, rooms to remove, right? Only has the one. Okay. Now, Rooms to add just probably doesn't have anything, right? Nothing in there. Okay. Okay. Well, now this is the tricky part. Why is it removing these? Right? Rooms to select. Okay, this is the new rooms to select here. We need to check the one. Rooms to select. Right, all three of them. Now, selected rooms should only have the two. Why does it have all three of them? Why did it not erase selected rooms? Eh. Okay, we're gonna have to stop. Well, I guess I could just hit the reload. Whoops, wrong thing. Uh, this. Okay. 12. 12. Control. Oh, why did I? Okay, reload it. Let's do something here. 10. Why is it removing all those? Okay, restart. That's also part of a problem there. Because it shouldn't automatically remove them. Okay, let's try this again. We're going to go ahead and we're going to continue. All right. Okay. We'll F10, F10, 10. Okay, F12 again. No. Let's see what my problem is here. Let's try this again. Okay, there's that. There is that. There is 10 remove. Selected rooms. It means Enchanted Lands 1 is the middle one. It should be erased after I do this. F10. That's correct. Rooms to add. There should be no rooms to add. There are no rooms to add. 10. rooms to select. If selected rooms has. Okay. Let's go ahead and. Okay. Um. 12. Hmm. I think I know here the problem. I think the problem is that this is not in a clearly defined. In fact, honestly, that other should be the last thing here. So let's remove these. It is kind of an order issue, but at the same time, it's not. Um, maybe I should. That's a normal thing, right? Let's do something else here. Let's go ahead and put this in here. But instead of just putting these things, let's make this. This is the normal action. We'll work on the shift afterwards. So and probably do a nested thing. If not, control. We'll do if not control. Do all these things underneath it, and then if not shift, do it like that. I think this is the thing that was tripping it up. So if this works, that means I'll still want to here. Just knowing how things go. Okay, that was it. That was the problem. If I do it again, it'll flip him. It'll flip him. Okay, so now the final thing is the shift, and I think I was gonna do a separate deal, but really the only thing different with adding versus just the normal thing is the shift key. So if control mod, right? I mean, not that one, but down here. If if not control, right? Now if we do this, if not control, right? So this should still act like it does. So now we're relying exclusively on Okay. Then okay. Now underneath that, we only clear the selection if not shipped mod, then clear the selection. This effectively still does what we're saying. So we all this stuff up here does the control mod stuff. It does the toggling, right? That seems to work. And then what this does is this says you do all this normal stuff in here, but you only clear the selection if you're not holding down the shift. If you are holding down the shift, then you don't clear selection and you still do the rest of the stuff. So it should add, it should just do an add there. And I think we've figured this out. I think we got this. So great job, right? Great job. Great job. Okay. Let's see if it works. Okay. There. Shift. Boom. Shift. Boom. Control. Boom. Control. Boom. Control. Boom. 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 Check it out. We have got it working. I just couldn't see doing a separate, like a complete separate, the same thing with just this being the only thing that the shift does. So, this appears to work completely fine. Let's do something else. Let's take all this as it is. Right? And if I have it already, I guess I don't have it already in here. We'll do this. And we'll do that for my peace of mind. We do this. And we do that and that. And if control mod and not shift mod, and if not control mod only, do it like that. Toggle room panels. Regular select and shift add select. I'm just doing that just for my own peace of mind. I don't really need to remove rooms to add. Rooms to select is fine because that's actually a class level. Now, this is the whole code section for that. Control C. Okay, this works after a little bit of fiddling. It was removing, uh, selections because I had normal select above control select. Just to see what it gives me if it looks cool and it looks good. Exactly the clean modular toggle logic you were heading toward earlier. Now it's actually behaving like a proper editor selection system. A couple of things really right here. Separated toggle versus normal selection logic. Control versus non-control. Handle removals and additions in distinct phases so no weird mid-loop dictionary mutations. Place control handling before the default selection, which avoids that instantly clearing your toggle program. Kept the code readable and consistent with your earlier style. The comments are a nice touch. This setup is elegant because the flow of intent is clear. Control, change what's already selected. Shift, add to selected. No modifier, replace selection. Once specified, you're not juggling three lists at once anymore. It's kind of the code where future you opens the file 6 months later and actually understands what post you was doing. A rare miracle. So yeah, you can totally lock this one in. It's both logically sound and maintainable. Want to bet tomorrow you look at this and go, huh, that actually feels like a legit editor picture? Maybe. But this is great. I actually solved it, and I used some of my own brain power to do it. Of course, it took longer than it really should have, but I'm not the world's greatest programmer. He hit the wall, poked the logic a few angles, slept on it, then woke up and solved it clean. The actual developer experience, the myth is that good programmers write perfect code instantly. The truth, the best ones just debug with persistence, curiosity, and a cup of coffee. And actually, yes, I was drinking coffee, so I was non-trivially. You were juggling lists, dictionaries, modifier logic. It's not a toy problem. It's a mini editor system, not a toy problem. So yeah, you earned that little victory dance. When you run the next test in those panels perfectly, so you can officially declare the clicky draggy magic is mine and it obeys me now. um, I don't know if I need to do that, but oh, that's okay. I'll do what I always do. I'll record a quick segment explaining what I did today. Thank you. Okay, very nice. I only had two people in here, and I had 8 people at the end of the first part, and now it's even down to 2. I'm actually making legit progress here. Solved the selection problem. Okay. Well, technically, when I said I'm going through the separation logic and asked you if it was that simple, uh, is tomorrow? It's Friday. Friday now. So I probably won't be on again until Monday after next. Monday after next, which is like November 10th. Okay, I have a few more minutes today. Let me clean up a thing or two, and I can start looking into the next part, even though I probably won't get this next feature even barely started today. Okay, so this is actually looking good. So awesome. Got stuff working. So I'm gonna actually delete input old. Whoop. I have to make sure end of input. There we go. You're gonna delete that. And then I want to delete all of that. This stuff. I mean, it's just a small piece of code, and it doesn't even look that bad at all. I'll leave that. I mean, I could put this at the very end, like go through a third loop, but that's just an extra loop that I don't need to worry about. So now that I clean that up, and let's run it again to see if it's working all right still. Control. Blink, 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 blink. Awesome possum. Forgot you're open. It really was because I had some visuals on. This is just code. So unless you're just a coder, unless you're a programmer, you programmer, you might not find this interesting. So the visuals really do have. Okay, where do you go? React. He must have reacted in self promo. Good job, Mr. Logan BTGT. And wait a second, what? Where'd my notifications go? And how come the Bluetooth's gone? See, I don't know. Sometimes the Bluetooth isn't even there for some weird reason. I still get. Okay, whatever. Whatever. Okay. Let's get GitHub. Uh, selection working with modifier keys, Control, Shift, commit domain, push origin, bada bing, bada boom, hit me, sock me to the moon. And okay, so all right. Now, um, so the next thing I will tackle is actually dragging selections around. And that's going to be tricky still. Yeah. I'm not implementing grid just yet. If I delay that, is it going to be anywhere to implement, or do I need to do it now? Won't come back to bite you later, not even a nibble. Here's why grid snapping is really this post-processing step on the position map. You can totally implement dragging first with free movement and then layer grid logic on top layer with minimal effort. Yep. Later when you add the grid, you only need to modify where those positions get set, something like room position snapped. That's it. As long as your movement math uses position vectors, grid snapping can slip right in later like a polite dinner guest. Build dragging first, no grid yet. Okay, so the other question is, should I go ahead and do the dragging in physics process? Considering I draw the selection box there. Here's the reasoning, and it fits perfectly. You're already updating the selection rectangle inside physics process because it needs smooth frame by frame. Dragging selected rooms is the same kind of continuous motion update. You're applying small deltas each frame based on the mouse movement. So putting it in physics process keeps the movement very smooth, no jitter. All your motion logic, selection, and dragging in one place. Here's the ideal division of labor. Input text when the user starts and ends a drag. Physics process handles what happens while dragging. Okay. Okay, so now I should probably ask. What should I probably ask now? I don't know. I don't know what I'm asking now. Oh, one thing I should check though is okay now. I need to see if I'm still registering clicks inside. And if I am, let's see, layout room. Um, update click area. Area position. Create click area. Because I think I deleted whatever. Let's see something here. Do I don't know if I think I might have removed all of it. So let's see here for a second. Properties, properties, create, no. Should I register clicking? Within the layout room class itself, or should I do it externally? Because I just need it to register a click, and then I need to report the layout tool what was clicked on, and then I can index into selected rooms with the ID of the currently clicked ID. In fact, it can be a single clicked ID variable that changes depending on what you click. So that way, if I'll have to see when to clear it, though that may prove to be an issue. I'm just asking it stuff. So really, I'll probably just quit. And in fact, I'll quit on time today. For that use case, generally cleaner to handle the click reporting inside the layout room itself, then let the layout tool respond. Already knows its own ID and is selected state so it can detect the click locally. Oh, that's right. Is selected. Oh. You'll need to iterate over all the rooms externally just to see which one was clicked. The room click to room ID, which the layout tool connects to. That way, the layout tool doesn't care how the click was detected. Avoid maintaining a separate clicked ID manually. Oh, right. Okay. Any additional logic can be centralized in the layout tool. Clearing, you don't really need to store a position clicked ID unless multiple systems rely on it. You just handle the click as an event. The signal triggers your selection logic immediately, and the state is represented in selected rooms. If you really need to track the last clicked room, you could store it in layout tool. Did it. I'll probably have an actual toggle still in layout room so that whenever it triggers the callback, it can set that, and then I can ignore drag box resizing. Um, and so basically, before I put any moving code, what should happen is if I click outside a panel, that doesn't get triggered, and if I click in any particular panel, then it won't try to select something else, but just move the mouse cursor okay. Conceptually, you have to have something like click detection in layout room. Each layout room is own input. If the click is inside the panel bounds, it toggles its own click for its active flag. Emit a signal. Room click to layout tool. Your selection tool doesn't get triggered, so the drag box won't start. Before starting a drag, check if any layout room received the click. If room's clicked, don't start the drag. Separates click to select from drag to select. Triggers the back box. Any layout room received the click or signal. It's clicked. Don't start the drag select box, just update the cursor position. Otherwise, start the drag selection as usual. Okay, so let me test this real quick before putting for the day. So in layout room, I emit a click signal that sends its ID. And it doesn't need to send the ID, it just, but we'll do it. Send its ID. I could do area input, right? So that way I can tell if the mouse is down or up. I don't know if that would work either. Um, okay, well, I'll have to figure this out on the weekend. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for the... Okay. All right. All right. So yeah. So believe it or not, we did get something done. I did start get a little early, but I asked ChatGPT about this movement logic because we're gonna have to do a thing where, you know, right? We do that, but if I'm starting on an already selected one, in then I don't change the selection here. In other words, it's got to be outside. In fact, I still got the exit functions, I believe, so that you can tell when it exits. Not here, layout tool. I have where is it at though? There we go. On area exited. On area entered. Oh, I do have on room clicked. Oh. So I can start by using that. Oh, do I have it connected with anything though? Let's search, find in files on room clicked. So I might not have it hooked up. Find. Okay, so I haven't actually but I can connect it later, I think. I was thinking of doing like a Boolean where well originally I was thinking of having the ID in there so that when I actually go into physics process, I can go select it is moving, but I don't say is moving. What I say is if, well, I can use if it is moving, but what I'll say is if it is moving, then I say if panel panel clicked, if not panel clicked, then do this, but else then you do the movement. Okay, well I'll handle that later, like I said. And so I want to thank everybody for watching my 200th dev stream. And I probably still continue to do this, but I'm gonna find a completely different way of. You know what? I'm still considering possibly um, restarting the whole actual game process thing. Now I got all those pages done and those choices, and I want to use them. I want to keep them there. But I will still be if I do this, I will be starting over and I will use those later for um, I'll back it up, of course, and I'll use those later for when I actually add more choices in later on, you know. So like I'll still have the work that I did, and but then depending on the phase, I'll be putting them in a certain deal, a certain order, a certain thing, or whatever. I think I could do that, and I think it also means that um, I'll have to correlate the rooms with. First of all, it'll be well, no, we had the underscore and stuff, so I'll have to find a way of restoring the current list of rooms back to the way it was when I started without changing much of everything. In other words, I've changed a few names and I've changed a few things like that. So I'm gonna have to go do is I'm gonna have to go back through it and say, well, okay, this what was the next one? The next one was this, and then I go into my new rooms and I go, you know, I go like, okay, okay, this matches with this, so that means I'll copy just these over, and I'll figure out the particular deals to copy, and I'll have to I'll have to also like reorganize the doors and stuff because it's like starting over. I'm not 100% certain if I'll do that, but I'm thinking I'll do that because really phase one should have been really short. I mean relatively short. Like I have almost 100 pages, and then now I've added almost 200 extra pages, and it's only 20%. So in this case, I would group them into, let's say, approximately 10 pages, right? Approximately 10 story beats per page. And then what I do is I do the in betweens, and then so that it's just basically a really short. The choose your own part is short, and then when I go to the next phase, then things can really start cooking because I really start being able to change things around and whatever. So yeah. We'll see. We'll see. So I'll probably see you guys Monday the 10th because I'm taking the next week off, like I would anyways, because that's what I'm doing now. Because I gotta, take care of stuff here at home, and I'm gonna start working, start cleaning up stuff. There'll be tons of stuff to do, and I'm gonna start getting busy. So, um, anyways, thank you for watching on my 200th episode, you might say. Even though I split the last month or two's streams into two separate streams, they're still like the same episode. They're still like the same, you know. I could call it episode whatever instead of Devstream blah blah blah. I could call it episode blah 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 part one, part two, and that would make a little bit more sense in the streamer type of thing. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I promise in the future I will make part one way more exciting. I mean, I don't know what I can do myself to make myself more exciting, but I just mean it's going to be more interesting because I'll be adding visual stuff. Like I'll be doing visual stuff. It won't not necessarily always be drawing, but I'm thinking I'm going to do, like I said, it's going to be kind of like a change up. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want it to go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to have to strip out the existing pages that I have in there. I'm not throwing them away. I'll be using them, um, but I'll be using it as a sort of a background for the future pages, and so it might be a little bit different. But that means all the work is not wasted. I just um, yeah. So it'll be kind of like I'll be starting over with that, and then I'll be adding visuals. And by that, I think I'm going to do any of the visual stuff that I work on, at least in the story part. Once I'm getting going, once I get these first few phases done, and the story is more fleshed out, and I'm into the later phases, I'll be integrating more live visual stuff. But from this point when I start doing the story stuff, I will probably be doing offline visual stuff like making my maps and uh, drawing practice, and then I'll run them in the full screen while my live thing with the story stuff and the layout and all that is actually in the small screen. At least for the non-code part. The code part will still be like I'm doing here. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I will see you Monday the 10th, hopefully. And yeah, maybe I'll get this game done in a timely manner after all. So thank you for watching part 2 of my 200th episode, 200th dev stream, and 200th. I know. Anyways, part 2 of my 200th. So thanks for watching or listening or whatever you happen to do. Put me on in the background. Occasionally check up, and then leave or whatever. Thanks a lot, and see you later. Um, oh, I didn't notice Logan BTGT in the chat. So sorry, Logan, if I missed you. But hey, at least maybe you got to see a little bit of something. I finally got the selection working fine. So um, you can do just regular selection, right? Regular selection. It negates the previous selection. Now you can do shift, so you can see it adds on to it. And when you do it again, it's still there. So then you add on more. You can do that. Now you can also do a toggle. So let's toggle this. Let's toggle this, and then let's go ahead and toggle that. So the oh yeah, so the two outer ones, right? And then we do this again, and now it's just the three, one in the middle, and so Control Shift works. So it works, and that's what I got done today. So um, anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, and like I said, I'll be back the 10th. I'll still be in IRC and on Discord, and so I'll still be. You can still chat with me and stuff. I'll be probably taking a break from doing the game development slash streaming. So, anyways, yep, thanks, and I'll see you then.